Today, I'm wearing 5 different professional hats. I'm a career practitioner, a trainer, an academic researcher, and I've also been consulting organizations in developing their career services and counselor training programs. And as a project manager, I'm coordinating a network of 30 countries in which governmental representatives are discussing through mutual learning how to improve their national guidance systems. But if we go back to a small upper secondary school in Western Finland in 1972, this young man on the right had no idea of these 5 hats. When we were thinking about our horizons at that time, we were using printed maps. We couldn't imagine at that moment. Today we have digital maps, global maps, which are available in apps in our mobile devices. What about your horizons? Please raise your hands if you now know what you will be doing in next, let's say, 2040. There's not wrong or right answer to this question. We all know that the world of work is changing through a number of reasons. There are people who say that we should not use the word career anymore. Instead of the word career or professions, we should say that there's a lot of work out there that needs to be done. And in order to do this job, we need skills or competencies. Sometimes these skills and competencies are clustered in a way that we used to call professions. But today, for many people, the career consists of part-time jobs, or short-term contracts, or even precarious work. In some societies, it's not important what you know or what are your skills. It's more important who you know. So in a way, you are working in networks, either with your colleagues, friends, or online networks. So I wouldn't delete the word the career. I would get a new meaning for the career. A career is not chosen anymore. It's constructed through a series of choices that we make throughout our lives. So in a way, we can, instead of career choice, we can talk about career construction. Somebody talk about life design or careering. Or when we use social media, we call it co-careering. It's one form of lifelong learning. And the security in the current labor market comes from employability. And if individuals want to maintain the employability, they need to be willing to learn new skills throughout their lives. And the task of lifelong guidance is to help us in doing so. If we agree that a career is an individual life path or individual progress in learning and work, then we can say that lifelong guidance is a range, it refers to a range of activities such as teaching, information giving, guidance, counseling, mentoring, coaching. And with the help of these activities are helpful for all citizens at any age and at any point of their lives, in learning, work, but also in outer work. And the focus of these activities is empowering individuals to make well-informed and well-thought-through decisions and plans and how to implement them. And this, in a way, shifts the focus from the service delivery to the individual progress. And these services can be delivered within education, public employment services, companies, community organizations, voluntary sector, or private providers. And different countries have different models how to do it. There's not one model that fits all, because these are filtered through educational, cultural, and also political contexts. But within our network, we have found out that if we integrate lifelong guidance in education, it can play an important role in supporting individuals to consider different educational options. But for those who are in education, it also helps to get most and best use of the knowledge and competence they are obtaining in the education when they are entering the labor market, or if they are re-entering to education from the period of unemployment. And there's a lot of evidence that shows that if we integrate careers education or career guidance in education, it's likely to be most effective when it's holistic and integrated in the programs, together with other service providers. And there are different ways how countries are doing it. It can be provided by separate professionals. It can be provided through all the teachers. It can be provided by trained professionals, but it also can be integrated into educational programs. But it's also, as I mentioned, filtered through national curriculum traditions. Finland is an example where we have been combining these different elements. Since 1970, so about 45 years ago, careers education has been part of the Finnish educational system. The current curriculum guidelines, or the national core curricula, obliged all the schools to make an institutional plan how they position careers education into the curriculum. It describes lifelong guidance as a general support for learning when students are looking for future options. It can be used to identify different learning styles or early intervention in the case of learning difficulties. It also invites all the teachers to identify how my own subject contributes to these overall goals. It's like an umbrella of all the subjects. But it's also a specific time allocation for this purpose. It's a subject in the student timetable. In the grades 1 to 6, we are not talking about careers. We are talking about how you get along with your peers, how you get along with other students, how you work in teams, how you work in small groups. So in a way, we are gradually building those transversal competencies which we need in the labor market. But in the grades 7 and onwards, there's a specific time allocation for this purpose. And we call it careers education or educational or vocational guidance. And the goal for this time slot is to allocate time for the individual students to think about their horizons, about their future. They think about themselves and also thinking what is their relationship with the environment. So in a way, the goal is to develop lifelong career management skills as a continuum. And when I'm talking about career management skills, I'm referring to a range of competencies which help individuals in a structured way to search, obtain, analyze, and synthesize information that relates to themselves, but also in the educational opportunities and labor market opportunities. And based on this information, to develop skills to make well-informed and well-thought-through decisions and plans, and how to implement them. So in a way, they learn to reflect what happens if I take a step here, or what might be the implications if I choose this path. The idea is that after students leave education, they will be able to identify what are their current competencies, how they inform it to the employers, how they use them in promoting their employability, either self-employed or employed. They also learn how to identify drivers for change, so the drivers which are implicating the current labor market or the current world of work. And based on this, they would be able to identify personal learning goals for themselves. And after identifying learning goals, you can find ways where to obtain these new competencies, either in formal education, informal education, or work-based learning. So in a way, we are learning the skills how to navigate this unpredictable labor market. To conclude, I would say that career management skills or career competencies, in a way they are combining the professional competencies, the social competencies, and the personal competencies in a such explicit new skills area which can be learned as such. And this is a long, continuous process. But I want to use this opportunity to put guidance in a broader context. We know that beneficiaries of guidance, it includes individuals, families, the organizations where we learn and the organizations we work, and the society as a whole. And if we think of the learning outcomes of the individuals, guidance is a private good. But if we think of the effectiveness of the educational system, guidance is a public good, and it contributes to different policy areas. In education, it helps us to engage in learning, to navigate through different learning paths. If we think of the education, and when it's integrated in the curriculum, it's a cost-effective way to meet the whole age cohort before anything happens. So in a way, it's a very strong preventive mode. And those students are likely to, if they know what they are studying, they are likely to graduate faster. So in a way, a well-functioning guidance system is an indicator of a well-functioning educational system. For the companies, a well-functioning guidance system provides opportunity to provide information about skill shortages, emerging competence areas, so in a way it increases the flexibility of the labor market. It's like a lubricant between education and the world of work. But guidance doesn't create jobs, but it has longer societal impact. In the times of unemployment, we can use the opportunities how to maintain a self-confidence and how to use the time, for example, in voluntary works or other activities to maintain the employability skills which we can use during the better economy. If we understand the efficacy of guidance, we can use this as a basis when we develop guidance services. Within our network, we collected research from all the member countries and also from our global partners, and we found out about 140 studies which identified that lifelong guidance is most effective when it's lifelong, it's progressive, and it engages the citizens. It connects the world of work and our individual lives. It recognizes the diversity of the individuals and allows us to match the services according to the individual needs. We combine different delivery modes, face-to-face talking, group work, telephone helplines, online services, social media. We involve parents, employers, and other partners from youth work, social work. And it's delivered by well-trained staff who have also possibilities for continuous professional development. And it draws on good quality careers information. And it's important that we use this information when we are developing our practices and policies. To conclude, at the moment, there's a strong political consensus that lifelong guidance is a significant contributor to educational, employment, youth, and social policies. But it should be also examined as a policy of its own right and also a practice which is jointly produced. And when I think of the year 72, there's a still need for these navigation skills, and we are not alone in this matter. So it's a growing demand we can't respond to by our own work or by any of these different government sectors alone. So in a way, when we are navigating in the horizons, we sail our boats, but not alone. We can reach our horizons if we all, the policymakers, practitioners, and individuals, are engaged in a joint effort. Thank you.